Hello everybody, welcome to Sensual Sense. I'm your host Al. Today we're going to be talking about Oud Maracuja, or more specifically, fragrances that I think are inspired by it. Yeah, we've got 4 here now. Some of these fragrances now aren't directly inspired by it, but when you get your nose on them, you can tell they are inspired by it. So, anyways, at the front we have on left to right, we have French Avenue's Azur Oud, and we have in here French Avenue's Aromatics Caramel Desire. Then we have Latafa's Pride Art of Nature 1, and then we have Ahmed Al-Maghribi's Ignite Oud. Okay, so what I will say now about all these fragrances, right, is that they are all different to each other. But when you get your nose on them, you can definitely smell that Oud Maracuja DNA. So, first of all, what is Oud Maracuja? So, Oud Maracuja, in a nutshell, right, is passion fruit and rose mixed with oud mixed with leather. So, the 3 parts to it are the fruit aspect to it, then the oud aspect to it, and then in the base, the leather aspect to it. So, let's see where they go. So first of all, we'll do a spray on them all. Like I have worn all these before. I have smelt all these before. We go. Just as strong. Oh, Al-Maghribi. Yeah, okay. So, just give me 2 minutes. So, look, I've had a few minutes with these fragrances here now, just to kind of nail down what I want to tell you. All right, and what I want to tell you is from the sample that I had once upon a time, this is the closest to it. This is the closest. So, even now, if we went through the notes, from what I remember, yeah, it's this more or less the same in the notes, but it's very much got the DNA of it. It has the passion fruit, it has the oud, and it has the leather, and that is a powerful fragrance. It'll last all day long, even on me. It'll last all day long. Easy on the trigger with it. I have to say, very easy to overspray on this. 1 or 2 extra sprays just might be too much. It's strong shit. Anyways, so the next one then, Caramel Desire. Again, a much more fruity aspect. Much more fruity aspect. It's much more smoother. It's a lot more crowd pleasing, this one. Whereas this one, with the oud and the leather, it can be a little bit diffusive. But with this one now, it has a raspberry nature and a sweet. I think in the note it has there's a cotton candy note as well. You can definitely smell that. And it sweetens down the oud and the leather that are in the base. Yeah, it's lovely. This still has the Oud Maracuja DNA, but it's probably, out of all 3 here, it's probably the most detached from it. If you kind of like this, or if you love this, but want to be a bit more crowd pleasing, then that's your one. Fantastic fragrance. Yeah, that's lovely. The Art Universe then. The Art Universe has in it a rhubarb note, which is quite strong. So it is. Like it has plum, blackcurrant, rhubarb, and then it has the oud and the leather like. But the rhubarb is quite strong in this. Now, if I was to say that this was the most attached, this is too, right? Again, you can smell that this has the Oud Maracuja DNA, right? It's nearly, when you smell it off the strip straight away, you get it. But then when it settles down, it comes back to that fruity kind of fig rhubarb mix. Even slightly blacker. There's a little bit of acidity with the blackcurrant, so there's that kind of mix there. And then you know, the oud and the leather is kind of just there in the background, you know. Quite a fruity scent, very, very fruity. And then Ahmed Al Maghribi. Yeah, this to me now has been one of my favourites for a long time. What this does is it takes back a little bit of the oud, tiny bit of the leather, right? And what it does, it adds woody notes. So it's much more of a woody scent. It's nearly like a hybrid between Oud Maracuja and Oud Wood. If you just got the two of them, just stand them together, that's what that is kind of like. So like for me, when I had a decant of Oud Wood, I just found that phenomenal. I found it one of my favourite fragrances of all time. Just absolutely phenomenal. It's so bloody expensive, and that's the reason why I never went back to it. But again, Oud Maracuja is also very expensive. That's why I'll never go back to it either. So what I will say now to sum up on all three, right? If you want Oud Maracuja, this is the one you want, right? If you want a sweet, very, very sweet cotton candy like Oud Maracuja, this is the one you want. If you want a fruity, a deep, like that rhubarb note, anytime I smell rhubarb over everything else, all right? You gotta go looking for the fig and the blackcurrant in this, but the rhubarb you just get, it's just, yeah. If you like rhubarb, this is probably a very good fragrance for you. I'm not the greatest fan of rhubarb, but I can still respect this for what it is, right? And then you have your kind of Oud Wood, Oud Maracuja kind of mash up here. You got your woody Oud Maracuja. Yeah. Ahmed Al Maghribi. Fantastic bottle, fantastic sprayer. Does the job. It's great. Great scent, great brand. So, how would I rate them all, right? I'm going to be objective here because I'm going to understand that Oud Maracuja is one of the most popular niche fragrances out there for what it is. And for that reason, I'm going to rate them solely based on that, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my interpretation of what's my favourite out of all these. So if the closest to Oud Maracuja, right, is this, and I give that an 8, right? The most detached in my mind, right, is The Art of Nature 1. So I'm going to give that a 7. Right? The nicest interpretation of it, the sweetest interpretation of it that I think is here is the Carnal Desire. I give that an 8.5. But the best fragrance here on this table, right, out of all four of these, the Ahmed Al Maghribi Ignite Oud. It's unbelievable for what it is. Unbelievable. It's fantastic, you know, and you just, if you, as best I could describe it, if you did kind of get that Oud Wood, I keep saying Oud Wood, I know I do, because I just absolutely fucking loved that. And it is, anybody who has tried it, if you loved it, right, you got a mix of Oud Wood and Oud Maracuja in this. And it's fantastic. It's an absolute certified banger. So look, out of all four here, right, in my interpretation, in my opinion, right, this is the best fragrance of all four. You want to get the closest to Oud Maracuja, that's the one you want. And then sweetest, most attached, but got rhubarb. If you like rhubarb, there you go. Okay, so 7, 8, 8.5, 9. Look, what can I say, right? If you want to know when to wear these type of fragrances, like, yeah, look, it's just, you gotta like the fragrance and read the room, you know. So it's, again, they're interesting fragrances. They are niche scent profiles for a reason. There is a reason why you pay 300 quid for a 50ml bottle of the original. You know, it's because, you know, if you want to smell different, if you want to smell interesting, and if you want people to ask you what you're wearing, this is the kind of scent you wear. So you're talking about in an environment where you're going to be surrounded by people, you know, maybe you're networking, maybe you're at an event or something like that. You know, this is the fragrance for that. Like the last wedding I was at, actually, sorry, it was 2 weddings ago, I wore that. And I got lots of compliments. Lots of compliments. So yeah, and I think there's definitely 2 lads that have bought this since that wedding now, but that was a few months ago now. So, but yeah, look, as I say to you, that was a crowd pleaser, you know, and definitely in that situation it worked. So there you go. You got my ratings, you got my take on it, right? 4 fantastic fragrances. Anyways, 3 anyways. But yeah, look, this I'm okay. So, okay, you got my opinions, you got my scores, you got my scores, you got my opinions, okay. So look, that's my video on my Oud Maracuja inspired fragrances. If you like this video, don't forget, hit the like button. And again, as always, subscribe to the channel, right? For more videos like this, I'm your host, Oud Maracuja. Until the next video.